I was almost done setting up my new stand, and I realized I was wasting a huge opportunity to make it a lot better. So about halfway through this, you're going to see me shift gears and do it a little different. Hey, it's Brock here with Uncommon Aquatics, and today we're going to be setting up a new aquarium, a pretty good sized aquarium actually. It's going to give my African cichlids a bigger home. First thing I've got to do is build a stand for it. I have so many aquariums that I've recently set up that are still being stocked. I wasn't really looking to add another aquarium yet, but this one was given to me for free, and I'm going to see if I can build a stand that is completely functional and even matches my decor in here without spending any money at all. So that's not to say it's a free stand like you could replicate. I just already have a lot of this stuff laying around. For instance, I do woodworking, so I've got a piece of plywood, and as I walked around looking for wood to set this on as the top of my stand, I had a piece that was almost an exact match. The new tank is 4 foot wide, sheets of plywood are 4 foot wide, and the width is just right too. So the first thing I need to do is paint this plywood. I'm going to paint it black so it looks a little nicer. Then we're going to start building the stand out. Should be a lot of fun. So while I wait on that paint to dry, I'm going to go ahead and paint the aquarium. I always paint the back and sometimes the sides of my aquarium. I've done a lot of different colors. Right now, I think black is my favorite. It's what most people use, and it makes the colors pop. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this. This paint that I use costs $2 for a normal size bottle, but in black, you just go to Walmart. It's apple barrel matte paint. It's got 100 colors it's available in. Super cheap, super available at Walmart, and it does a good job. I've painted a lot of aquariums with this. There's no reason to me to make it more complicated. Quick and easy and cheap. And I do multiple coats so that this is less likely to wear off or fade out. I've got the top done for my simple, cheap DIY stand. What I did, after painting the plywood, I also painted a 2x12 and a couple 2x4s and attached those to the underside. Now the 2x4s that I happen to have were like 46 inches instead of 48, but the 2x12 was longer and I cut it down, so it's the exact length, and this will be very strong to support the weight. Could you possibly have done this with just the plywood? Maybe, but I already had this wood, so I built essentially a really sturdy tabletop that the aquarium is going to set on. So when it comes to building a aquarium stand out of concrete blocks, I take an issue with the way everybody does it. And you know what? Ultimately, if you build one that way and it works, it's fine. But as someone who works in like landscaping and construction, and I make videos about that on my main channel, everybody knows that you're not supposed to use concrete blocks stood up this way. And I see a lot of people who slide like a 4x4 in here or set on top with blocks standing this way. They are not structurally designed to hold weight like this. And they probably will, but they're not designed for it. So I won't use blocks stood up this way. I'm always going to put them the way they're designed to be used, which is like this. Now that gives you width. The width that I need for this stand is 18 inches, and these blocks are 16. So they're going to be plenty wide enough. You could probably get away with the top I made with 2 stacks, but I'm going to use 3. And you could do this whole thing probably with 6 blocks. I've got 12. I want it to be really sturdy. It is going to be about 2 inches taller than I would like it to be, because the top of this block is even with the height of this stand. And I'm going to actually set this up around the corner, but I wanted to demonstrate it here to show the height. So Once I add my topper on it, we're going to be just a little taller than I'd like to be. But with 12 blocks, that's going to be rock solid. Because this aquarium was free, I wanted to leak test it before I did anything else. So I've already filled it once, let it sit for a day, and drained it back down. But it's still really dirty. So I'm going to fill it up again. And that'll give me a chance to make sure that this stand is good and sturdy, and that we don't have any problems that I haven't thought of. And while it's filled, I'm going to wash the inside of it, get it all cleaned up, and ready for an aquascape. Or more of a hardscape in this case, because of the choice of fish that's going in here. And I do have a stocking question I want you guys to kind of vote on in the comments. This new 75-gallon aquarium is going to be an African cichlid tank. And the fish going in it are coming out of my current African cichlid tank, which is a 55-gallon. So now my next question is, what should I stock in the 55-gallon? Especially for you guys that follow along and know what I have in all my other tanks, I'm really curious to see what your suggestions are. I've had a lot of different ideas for what to put in that tank, but some of the lead candidates right now are another brackish setup, or maybe a standalone fish like a flower horn. Alright, so what I realized after I was working on this is that by adding this 2x material, but the 2x12 and the 2x4s, this is super strong for that 4-foot span with 2 stacks supporting it. There was no reason for the 3rd stack. That was just overkill. And when I started to think about it, that leaves a big open spot there. Now I've already got some of these 20-gallon tanks, and I didn't like where I had them. So I think this is a perfect idea for a dual purpose. All I had to do was throw another piece of plywood down under that 20-gallon long. The 20-gallon long fits perfectly in between these stacks on a 4-foot tank. So this combo of 75-gallon with a 20-gallon long, all you need is a couple of 2x, a couple pieces of plywood, and we've got 12 cinder blocks. I think this is going to work out perfectly, and it's going to stay consistent with my theme of maximizing space, getting as many aquariums set up as I can for the least amount of money. So I'm really happy with what I've come up with here, and the next video will be hardscaping this aquarium and stocking it. And that should be a lot of fun. So I appreciate you taking time to watch this video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.